Hi everybody, it's Amy at Crafty Cat, and I have finished Karen's little mini hinge journal. And so it has a piece of vintage table runner that I found with it really neat lace on it. And I did wash it, but there are a few little stains on it. It's clean, it's just, you know, old and used, obviously. And I did stitch a piece of this, I don't know what you would call it, but it's just a piece of trim in the red and white there, and then this is a piece of sari silk that I stitched on there. So it's all stitched on the inside, and these strings, as you probably know if you've dealt with sari, just kind of come off randomly. So that's the little cover for it. And then this is what the outside of it looks like, Santa Claus and little girl, and that's from that book that I got off of Amazon with all the vintage like die cut stuff in it. And this is the paper that I got from Rachel at Roxy Creations, the Florentine paper, and there's a little strip of a different color with the reds and that. And this is a piece of scrapbook paper that had music, you know, on it, and a little doily there. And then it opens and you can journal right here. And then this is just a little collage, and that's the Florentine paper again. And then this is the envelope that we did together. This is what it looks like when it's hinged in. So it's just hooked on like that. And then I did do, oh, I forgot because I kept kind of working on it later that evening. I stamped it all over with all kinds of just all different random stuff. And then I also stamped it using some just white acrylic paint with like some little star sort of things. It almost looks like ice or snowflakes or something like that. So I did do that all over. And I made these little tags to go in the pockets. Santa. And the manila paper on the back. And that's just a little bit of fabric. And then this one. So yeah, those are all tucked away in there. And then I did this little, added this little Santa, it's almost like a blueprint or something that was in that book too that I got off of Amazon. And then this is just a little piece of trim that says Merry Christmas. And then there's a little pocket in here with a little Santa. It's the tuck, and this is a little pocket. And there's another little Santa thing. That's one of those stamps from Rachel at Roxy Creations. And this is another image out of the Amazon book and some fabric, and this is a piece of printed lace from one of my digis. I believe that one is Antique Posy. Sorry, it's hard to remember after you do so many, you know, which things are in which one exactly, but I'm pretty sure that's the Antique Posy one. And then a Santa there with a little holly and joy. And this opens like this, and that's that Medieval Mirage paper. And a little Santa. I just love that image of just his face. I think that's so fun. And then this is scrapbook paper and a little snowflake. There's a piece of music paper that I stamped, a little bling in the center there, sequin. And then it says, on the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me. And that's a piece from Graphic 45. And then this I turned into a little pocket, and there's just a tiny little postcard that I made, just tucked in there. And this opens like this, and this is one of those flip-ups. You can write in this part, flip-up corners. And that's just a journaling card. And I did purposefully, so this wasn't an accident, so it's not a mistake, drip water along here because I wanted it to look like something spilled on it or something. That was intentional. It wasn't by accident. Just in case you get looking at it and you're like, it looks like water got spilled on that. I did it on purpose. And there's some scrapbook paper. This is just an image off of a greeting card of a snowman and a little boy, actually two boys it looks like, and a dog. And then there's a little Santa pocket and holly jolly. That's just tucked right in there. And I did sign it. So that is for you, Karen, if you like this one. I will be listing it sometime today. Hopefully by the time this video goes up, it'll be listed. If not, it will be, you know, shortly thereafter. and it will say for Karen, so custom order for Karen. So just pop on there and you can purchase it that way, and then I'll get it shipped out to you. That way we can, you know, do all the shipping and everything as well. So alrighty, that's that. And then I have a couple of new digis on my Etsy shop. So there's this one, and it's called Old Posters Christmas. Let me check and make sure that's right. Sorry. Again, it's the whole, I did all kinds of stuff this weekend, and my brain has trouble keeping up with, you know, what I did and everything. So let me just check really fast and make sure that that's what we ended up calling it. Yeah, it's Old Posters Christmas. That was right. I apologize for that. But it's just all old posters from the late 1800s, early 1900s, and, you know, just like I did with the autumn ones, just so you can use them as ephemera, or, you know, make them into stuff, or put them on the fronts of cards or whatever. So there's 5 pages, just like there were 5 pages of the fall one. And one thing I will say is you may want to shrink to fit on your computer, because like this edge of this one did get clipped. When we put them in, you know, in the digital format, there's an edge just like this on this side, but for whatever reason, when the printer gets a hold of it, it sometimes cuts off an edge. So I would just shrink to fit in your printer, or whatever your printer says. Like, don't fill the page, because that's usually when you get edges cut off. All right, and then there's this one. I love this Santa. He's too funny, riding around on his like quad or whatever, little tractor sort of thing. And then there's this one. And this is more like a vintage postcard than a poster, but, well, I don't know, it does say Christmas cards, but I don't know, they were just all really, they're just neat images, so I thought they'd be fun to put on there. And then this one is from my new Digi. I'm going to put these ones at the back, actually. Oops, that one goes on front. Sorry. Okay, so this is my new Digi, and this one is called Letters to Santa. And I called it Letters to Santa because I did find some vintage Letters to Santa. So that's what these are when you see these on there. They're little kids writing letters to Santa, and some of them are really old. Like this one, you can't see it up here, but it's like 1917. And so, you know, it was really aged looking. And then this is just all collaged like I normally do, the little dolls and whatnot. There's this one. There's that Santa on his, it looks like part of a train, or, oh, it's like one of those little old trucks, I think is what it is, and it's all decorated on the front. I don't know, it's just really cute. And then this is the same page, just without the Santa. I just like to do that because then you can, if you want, you can use them like on the other side to write on, that whole kind of thing. Those are printed on the back because I'm going to use them for something else. But anyway, that's why I do that. Like this spot, you can journal here, but then on the next one there's going to be an image there. I just do it so that you've got some variety and some choices, so you don't feel like, you know, if you do want to put them in journals, like you don't have anything to write on or anything because all of it's covered. But you can also tear them apart, use them for collage, you know, all that type of thing. So, and this says Santa Claus, like it's the outside of an envelope for Santa Claus, and then this one I put that image there. Alright, and here's another Dear Santa Claus, and that one has a little image. And these pieces here are photographs that I took of just stuff that I have that's Christmassy. You know, like lace and rickrack and pearls and just all kinds of stuff. I just took photographs of it to make those colorful spots there. And this one says To Santa Claus, and it has the Santa. My son added the snow digitally, but everything else is done completely by hand. So, and there's one without that Santa. Oh no, this one's different. Or no, it's not. Sorry, we did a lot of different things to them. So this one we put the holly up here and this postcard here. But the background is very similar. So yeah, just some variations, you know, so you get some variety. There's that one. Oops, this one's backwards because that's Medieval Mirage. Sorry about that. I thought I had them going the right way. Because like I said, I backed them with some other things because I'm going to make a journal out of them and I wanted them backed. There's this one. That's that first one that I showed you with the dolls, but we put Santa there. There's another one. This is so cute. I love the writing on this one. And I added that Santa stamp. This was the stamp that was the only stamp that was on it originally. Oh, I guess I'm not showing these very well on my, I apologize. My camera angle is not great. There's that one. And then there's this one. This is an old vintage, one of those tatting things, and there's a staple in it. They had it like stapled to this old paper, and so I took it off the old paper and just put it on, but I liked the staple on there. Thought that was kind of fun. And this is another one with that same one, but we added this present instead. And then this one with the Santa here and the little girls. And then this is just one that I threw in. This is just kind of a little freebie in there because it's sort of silly, but if you have kids or grandkids, I made this last year and I just thought it would be fun for kids to, you know, be able to write a letter to Santa, so that's what it's for. So if you want, you could just use this image or whatever. And then these are the, I did not make like a lot of pockets and envelopes and all that kind of stuff because I did include lots of old postcards and things like that instead. So there's like this old postcard. These are all postcards. This is just one of those like, what do you call them? The German cutout type pieces. And then that's that poster that's in the old poster kit as well. And this just has Dear Santa Claus, this is where I live. I love that. So instead of making a bunch of ephemera and including it, I just did the postcards this time. So you can do, you know, pockets with them, or you can do whatever you choose to do with it. So anyway, those are them. If you're interested, these are already listed on my Etsy shop. And then I started this little journal, and what inspired this was, it's downstairs right now, but I got this old ledger book at an antique store that's taller than this, and this is just over 11.5 inches tall. It's about 15 is what I'm thinking, that ledger, but it was skinny. It's the same width as this. And I just thought it was so cool, and I want to use it to make a guest book for my niece for her wedding, but I also wanted to make something Christmas in the same sort of way. I just loved that the long skinniness. I didn't go obviously 15 with it, but and then I was trying to think of how to do pages, and then I stumbled upon Shabby Dabby Doodah was doing a video, and this was a while back. It's a September video of hers, and I'll link it. Where she was making like pockets with little like strips of paper, different widths of strips of paper that she stitched down the middle. And so when I saw that, I was like, yes, that's exactly what I'm looking for. So I did one just to kind of give you guys an idea. I didn't want to use the new paper to do this because, you know, then I wouldn't be able to show you very well what was in the kit. But see, so they're just like strips of paper stitched together, and she was making like little flip outs and things like that for her journal, more as like something you would hook to the page or clip into the page or something like that. But it was all little like strips of paper, and like this, they don't, you know, you'd have to tuck them in a little bit further or maybe glue them together. Hers were shorter, so it didn't have this floppability kind of thing problem like mine does. But once I stitch it into the binding, you know, into the book here, I don't think that, you know, that's obviously not going to be a problem because it's going to be stitched. So they're not going to be wobbly at all because they'll be all stitched in there. So I just think that's kind of a fun way to do a tall journal. You could also do it with like maybe just 2 sheets of paper or you know, whatever you want. You could make it as many strips as you want. So if you didn't want it quite this, you know, flippy and stuff, then you can do it the way that you want to. But I just thought that was an excellent idea for a tall journal, because obviously our paper is only so tall. I mean, the paper that the 8.5 by 11 works this way if you folded it in half, but it would just be so skinny. So it just doesn't really, I don't know. So, and plus, like this particular format that I do for journals, I do it horizontal instead of vertical. So, you know, it wouldn't really work to have them this way and folded like this. That would look weird. So, anyway, I just thought that was a great way to solve that problem. So I thought I would just make a few more pages. I just collaged on the front of here, and I know that there's a spot there that isn't collaged, but I'm going to put fabric over the spine, so that part doesn't really matter to me right now. And I'm probably going to add some other things on here. I just was getting it started, and then I had to go cook dinner, as we all do. So yeah, so that's where I'm at with that. But yeah, I think I'm going to use these, and I backed them with all kinds of stuff. I did like Medieval Mirage on some of them. Sorry, this is Medieval Mirage. And then this is that ledger from that book. And it didn't go all the way to the edges, so I will have to trim these pages down a little bit. But that's Ledger, Medieval Mirage. Just did all kinds of different stuff. This is from my friend Denise at Wonderbar Crafts. She has a coffee dyed paper, you know, digital kit that she did. She coffee dyed paper and then scanned it. So that's that with the polka dots. And then this one is also, I believe, Denise's tea dyed. That one's tea dyed. And this is hers again. She has a tea dyed set and a coffee dyed set, and I'm using both of them. This is Rachel at Roxy Creations, her coffee dyeing. That's Rachel at Roxy Creations. So yeah, I just backed them with all different stuff, just so that's Rachel. These are Rachel's letters, and I know they're going the wrong way, but again, because we're going to do some tearing and stuff, I don't feel like that's that big of a deal. I just like the look of that. I just didn't want them white on the back, so that's really kind of what I was going for. Another letter and another letter. So that's what we have. So, and I'll be mixing in some scrapbook papers and just all kinds of stuff. I want to get most of the Santa and all that on this particular strip of paper. So I hope you guys all had an awesome weekend. I had a wonderful weekend. Our kids took 3rd overall at the band competition, so that was totally awesome, because that's over, you know, all the bands, which, oh my gosh, I don't even know how many kids played. There were a lot of bands, probably at least, I would say 30, right around there, something like that. I don't know. I didn't stay and watch the whole day because it was freezing cold. Our temperatures have plummeted, kind of, and we have a storm coming in, and so I just didn't want to sit out there and completely freeze. But, you know, I went like for the last whole part of the competition, the division that my kids are in, and watched them, of course. So that was a lot of fun, and I was very excited for them that they did so well, because that was great. I mean, it was definitely the best they have marched all season. They just did an amazing, amazing job. And the judges didn't have too many things to say were bad, so that's always a good thing. So I'm just going to cut strips, you know, again for this. And maybe on this one, can I do just 2? No, I'll have to do 3 again. So I think I'll cut this down a bit. Let's do 4 inches on this. And I'm just kind of eyeballing. I'm not doing a ton of measuring. I mean, I'm, you know, getting an idea of where I want it and stuff like that, but I'm not getting really picky because I'm not that worried about how the strips are. So we need this to be 5, or wait, is it 5.5? Yeah, 5.5. So sorry, I'm kind of off camera. I'm just cutting that paper. So you can like do something like this. Yeah, I just think that it will be a lot of fun. Like it'll be a very sort of interactive journal, I guess I would say. And we'll just do a little strip of this. And get this thing off over here. So yeah, like I said, I hope you guys had an awesome weekend. We've had this crazy cold weather. I mean bitter. It is bitter cold. It was like 18 this morning when I got up, and that is like, ugh, I do not like, do not like it. I am not ready for that. I mean, I'm not particularly nutty about super hot weather either, but the older I get, the more I'm liking the hot than the cold, because this is what happens when it gets like this. When we have that sudden change like that, it causes me pain. And it takes a lot to get out of the pain. So I'm trying to just suck it up, Buttercup. Because I couldn't even sleep last night because of my stinking arm. So I thought I'll wear a brace or, you know, compression on it today and see if that helps at all. I hope it does. I mean, it feels good when it's on, so if nothing else, there's that. So I'll just keep wearing it until, and I'm probably just going to kind of make up the pages like this, and then I will stitch them later. But we could do some stuff on the inside to them like I did to the other ones, because not everything is backed like these are. And I know like this one you're not going to be able to do a lot of writing to, but I might like flip this one this direction instead and have this as the inside, because you could still write on this part and this part right here. So that's kind of what I was thinking. So I don't want to cut that doily necessarily. So yeah, I thought this was kind of a fun kit to play with. It's got a lot of things in it that you could do some different stuff with. Tear it up and collage with it, or, you know, just keep it the way it is. And I'll use these other little pieces too eventually. I just want to kind of play with it here. I think I might use some of this ledger out of that book. See, this is how tall it is. Isn't that cool? I guess I could measure this, huh? It's such a cool ledger, and I think it'll make the neatest guest book for her. That's like 14.5, yeah, so I'm betting it's about 15 inches high. So it's very cool. And I'm just gonna see, that probably wasn't 5.5, huh? Nope. That was smart of me. Why did I fold that already? Here, let's do this in instead. I'm just trying to kind of figure it out here. So yeah, I found it at an antique store, and it's just really neat. And I wanted to make something with it, but I knew I probably wouldn't be able to sell it because it's just too neat. I don't know. That kind of stuff is hard for me to... There's still the fold though, huh? So yeah, I thought if I make it for her, I get to make something out of it, and it stays in the family, which is cool. I don't know why I like that kind of stuff and why that matters to me, but it does. So I'm just going to cut this. This old paper does not like paper trimmers, I've discovered. And I can't ever cut a straight line, so that's the problem with that. I think I probably will add some tape along that back, and I might just leave this edge. I kind of like that torn edge on there. And that's still a little bit long. I don't like how this isn't meeting up right. And I got Nan sent off her little journal she won, the little autumn journal, so I'm excited about that because I wanted it to go to somebody who wanted it. That was a good thing. I don't think any of those strips are big enough. The one thing good about this, doing it this way, is you can use up some of your scraps. So that part is very good, as we all know. Because who doesn't love to do that? I might just go with like a red, burgundy, whatever color that is. Let's do, fold it first. And this is a textured paper. I don't even, who knows where that came from, but something that I've had kicking around. I'm thinking, let's do, I think 3. And like I said, this doesn't have to be perfect because you're not, you can overlap them a little bit. You know, you can kind of play with that part of it, so it's not like a huge deal if it's not the perfect size. This paper is a little bit thicker, so what I might actually do is put it at the bottom, this one up at the top. And this is Medieval Mirage, Medieval Fragments. That's that same one. I just liked how it's kind of Christmassy colors, so that's what I went with for that. I think that middle one is a little bit too small now. So maybe we'll put it. Okay, so just to give you some ideas, I'm not going to torture you with doing every single, you know, page. So let's do some stuff to the inside of these because they are white. So kind of what I did yesterday is I inked stuff. Where did I put my brush? Oh, geez, there it is right next to me. Couldn't see it because it was too obvious. So I like to use the brush on this when I'm doing just white, because otherwise I tend to get those circles all the time from the round Tim Holtz, the dauber. So I don't like that. It bugs me. So I'll probably still go around the edge, but I'm going to do this. Just to add a little interest. And plus it goes a lot faster using this, I think, when you're doing whole, like inside of pages, that kind of thing. It just tends to work faster, I think. Okay, I'm going to show you a little something I was doing yesterday, and I'm sure I'm not the first person to ever do this, so I'm not claiming that. Let me grab a stamp really quick. These are just old, retired Stampin' Up! Stamps. And I need a piece of paper. I'll use this one that I used yesterday so you can see the paint on there. Okay, let me scoot that up and scoot this up so I can make sure everybody can see what's happening. And I'm just using regular acrylic paint, but you could use gesso or whatever you like using. That's what you should use. I just am not that picky. And then I just take a paintbrush and kind of spread it. And I'm sure, like I said, I'm not the first person to ever do this, so just getting some of that white on there. And you can't really see it great on that. I think I need a little more. Oh, nice. It is light because I did do a little bit of that on, you know, some of those other ones, and it doesn't come out super dark, so that's not going to happen at all. Just because it's a lighter, you know, way of doing it than just painting it on there. Sorry, I'm just looking for another book page to put under this. And of course right now I can't find one. Oh my goodness. Hold on just a second. Okay, hi, I'm back. I just got this from a, what do you call it, pad of paper. So let's see. I want to, you know, have some paint on there. And it's really light, but I think once it dries, you'll be able to see it more. I just don't, you don't want to get so much paint on here that it's like just blobs, you know. And if you make this background darker, like if I used actual coffee dyed paper, it probably would show better. But I kind of, you know, I just like this lighter version. It's just meant to, I still want people to be able to write on this paper, so it's not like I want it to be super duper dark anyways. Just kind of a suggestion of like snow or whatever. Just going to wipe this off because I don't want to drag my paper through the white paint. It's not that it really matters that it's on that, I just don't want my white paint to get all, or not my white paint, this to get messed up on the other side. And you guys probably can't see it at all. I'll bring it up closer to the camera. I think that's good. Maybe a little more right here. Okay, so I don't know if you can tell, but there's a little bit of a, okay, see kind of the dots right there probably is the best shot you're going to get of that. I'm going to wipe this stamp off just so that paint does not dry on my stamp. And then I'm also going to take this little snowflake that I have, and that's a Stampin' Up! Stamp as well. And I'm just going to kind of go around in between these spots. And this is very subtle, like I said, so if you don't want to do this and you're not as crazy as I am, don't do it. But this journal, you know, isn't going to have a million pages because it's just, it's, oh, I forgot to even tell you, it's just a manila folder that I cut at that size. It's already its original fold and everything. I didn't do anything else to it. I just literally cut it to the size I wanted. And it's one of the heavier weight manila folders just because, you know, I want it to hold up. So this you can probably see a little bit better. See the little snowflakes on there. So I'm going to just set that aside and let it dry because I can't do anything with it when it's wet. I'm going to wipe this stamp off. So that's just an idea. Oh my goodness, my stamp's falling apart. Well, it's only been kicking around since 2002, so no surprise. I'll just fix it later with some silicone or something. Or Gorilla Glue, that's what it needs. Okay, so I'll just set this over here and we'll fix that later. And then, where's the other one that we were at? This one. This one I'll probably do something different just so that it's not the same thing. Maybe I'll just do this again. And move that up. I'm going to take this and kind of go around the edges of this one. I'm going to move this. Okay, so that is that, and then I think I'm going to use a different one of those, this battery one, and oh, I do need that again, otherwise I can't go off. I'm just trying not to get that white paint on anything. So this is just a spatter effect, and so I'm just going to kind of run it around. And I'm not even like totally, I'm barely touching the paper. I'm just kind of doing it lighter. So there's something in the middle. Right, and then I have this with December 25th already on it. I guess it doesn't matter which way this goes. It's just fun to stamp it on stuff. Easily entertained. So just, you know, something as simple as that is fine as well. So then when we stack those in there, and you can see on this one, I'll show you. This is that manila paper, and I just took a paintbrush like this and just, you know, kind of dry brushed it all over, and then stamped those snowflakes yesterday, and it's plain on the inside, so that's what I did to that one to kind of jazz it up a little. And then this one I did with the ink and then just some little like star sort of things in white, and you can barely see them, but it's just so that it's not plain on the inside, or you know, just gives it a little something instead of white. So those are just a few ideas. So I'm going to keep cutting out pages, but I just wanted to show you guys that idea and you know, show you the little journal I finished for Karen and the digis if you're interested in those. So I will let you guys go now, and I hope you have an awesome afternoon and a wonderful tomorrow. I'll probably be back on Wednesday, so we'll chat later. Bye-bye now.